English teacher ever, Mr. Ray.
It's a little dramatic, but all right.
When you were a young lad,
Mm.
you know, what was your favorite music that you listened to as a young Padawan?
How young should we go?
Like,
Just when I'm curious, like what stage of my life you mean? Just because gosh, music is so core to like who I am and what I care about.
Exactly.
That there's too much, so I want to zoom in a little. You want to go elementary school? You want to go high school?
when did you start listening to music? And, like, you're like, oh, I like this album. I don't like this. I like this song. I don't like this.
I vividly remember the record Uptown Girl, the song Uptown Girl by
Uptown
Billy
Girl,
Joel,
yeah.
and the video with Christy Brinkley, who I developed a crush on. But yeah, Uptown Girl was like that album that's on was in my home, and I saw the video on MTV and thought that was cool. But so when I think about my history with music, it just starts with Uptown Girl for real.
So you were into like.
No, but that's not representative of a genre I liked though, which is interesting. It's just like
that's just like your first song.
that's a first song kind of thing, because I quickly moved from that to hair bands. I cared a lot about Poison. Open Up and Say Ah was an album by the band Poison with like Every Rose Has Its Thorn, Bret Michaels. Bands like Warrant. So hair bands and rock. Scorpions. Maybe you want to pick up a guitar. CC DeVille is the guitar player for Poison, and he was just like this cool dude who played this neon green guitar and like shredded.
80s. That's when it was. That's when you got into.
Yeah, I mean I'm born in
music.
'79, so I'm in the '80s.
You're right, the cusp.
Yeah. But yeah, I was way into that. Got me interested in guitar. So like I got my first guitar in sixth grade, a red guitar.
Okay, that's a good question. That kind of segues.
Yeah.
Describe the moment in your life where music became more than just something to listen to, at least for you.
So
Like you want to start, you know what I mean?
yeah. So I had this red guitar, it's a cruise guitar. My parents got me lessons at the local shop, Gordon Music in Southbridge, and I remember vividly, like the teacher was taking me through a song called Red River Valley, and it was like 4 different notes. It was very dull and boring to me. I wanted to be immediately CC DeVille. I wanted to be in a music video, shredding, looking awesome, and I looked terrible, and also just couldn't play much, and the songs were boring. So I actually quit after about a month or 2. And so there's a gap between 6th grade and 10th. No, I don't play an instrument. It sits in my closet. It had. I showcased it once at like a 6th grade Christmas pageant type event where like I was Rudolph, Rocket Rudolph, but I couldn't actually play anything. It was a prop, and some shame in that. But I did like being Rocket Rudolph. So I abandoned it until 10th grade. It was my friend group that like helped make this all happen, because.
Is that like what the band is? It's still a friend group from it?
Yeah, I mean, these are people who are like brothers who I'm still friends with to this day. I'll be reuniting with them in a couple weeks for St. Patrick's Day. These are some of these people are in the Dropkick Murphys, for example. But they're the people I was drawn to with music, my friends who could already play and like welcomed me in to like not sit down like I had with my instructor and like have a book out and try to learn music theory or technical stuff, but just be like, hey, we like Screeching Weasel. That's a band that we liked. We like a band called 15. We like Green Day's album Kerplunk. You can just play. Rancid was an important band. Weezer. Why don't we just start playing? Here's how to play like the chords in that song. So once I had, like, instead of like the 4 notes of Red River Valley at my little 6th grade lesson that I abandoned, this was like, here's the 4 chords to Supermarket Fantasy by Screeching Weasel, your favorite song. You can just go through that progression over and over and try to sing over it. And that was like immediately rewarding. I think I was lucky enough to be surrounded by like the right friends, people who like, I bought a Yamaha Pacifica at Daddy's Junkie Music in Worcester. And I started learning how to play songs with friends. And they already had a band going, and they were kind of bringing me into their wing. So I would say 10th grade.
They scouted you out, basically.
Well, they knew that like we all cared about music a lot, and that it would be fun to like. I was like, being asked to join their band, which is called the Westies, was like a huge honor and exciting. Like it was an exciting moment. They'd already played a show at a place called.
That was like the pivotal moment.
Pivotal moment
where
was
it went
like.
From...
Yeah, that probably happens my junior year, I think, but. basically 10th and 11th grade, I'm learning guitar, I'm hanging out with them, I'm going to their band rehearsals, I'm seeing what it means to like play music together. It's really not an overstatement to say that changed my life, because it really did, because I'm 46 now and like I still like am in pursuit of my next band. Like it's just like, and I play guitar like every day. I don't think that happens unless I see that benefit.
So then what drew you into making music?
So I think because my first passion for music was punk rock, it's very accessible. You don't have to be great. Yeah, so like I left CC DeVille behind in the idea I would be a shredder. I knew I wouldn't be Slash or anything. And I was more into the idea that like, gosh, if you just know a few chords and you belt out some lyrics with feeling, you can do that immediately. So punk rock was really that helped. I'm glad I was into that and not, like yacht rock, trying to play Steely Dan or something, or Led Zeppelin. I would have been in trouble. I think the genre I was into was accessible, and that was big.
Okay, now let's dive a little more. Let's dive a little more deeper. That's just like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Shout out Lily for that. So what does a typical day for you, look like, and how do you fit music in?
My whole day and where music fits. I mean, I'm a pretty busy parent. After I teach for the day, like including today, like I'll need to, when I leave here, I'll make sure I get my son and his friend over to Drama Studio in Springfield so they can have their rehearsal. And I'm driving around a lot. So when I'm out of here, there's a lot of chauffeuring the kids, getting them where they need to be. They're very actively involved in music and theater themselves. And then music, I'm really making an effort this year in particular to make sure it happens every single day in some form. So I recently bought this little product. It's a real splurge because it's expensive, but it's called the OPXY. It's a synthesizer, but it also like has, you can program your own drum beat. You can put down like a bass line. You can play a pad and then play melodies over it. You can get piano sounds. You can get it's just rich with options. And it has this, like, you just flick it on, you got headphones on, and you can start making something. So what I've learned over the course of my life of music is like, you got to take down the walls. There's a lot of friction to getting started, like flipping on my amp, plugging in my guitar, setting up is a barrier. So like a tool like this is nice, an acoustic guitar is really nice. So like in my day-to-day, ways that I make music happen with the most success is like this little tool that lets me create on a whim on my couch immediately, or my acoustic. I've got a more sophisticated setup in the basement where if I'm gonna do that, it's gonna be like a little bit more of a barrier because I got like 2 amps I turn on, a PA system, I hook up my MacBook to it, I let some drums play, I wanna jam over it. But one of these things is happening every day, and when I have the time, it's like the full setup in the basement.
In your music, like what part of your personality comes out that no one sees in the classroom?
That's interesting. I feel like, well, when my wife hears me play in the basement, just like jamming, she says I'm at a sad beach, which makes a ton of sense to me because it's like a lot of delay and reverb and big sounds, and it's like cavernous and kind of, it's something I'll do if I'm just playing solo and I'm not singing. I'm just trying to make like soundscapes. I don't know, maybe what could be surprising might, I don't know, I don't know if I have the most serious demeanor in the classroom. I can, but I try to be like, I don't know, I have a lighter side to myself. I was like the class clown in high school, like in the yearbook kind of guy. I just was. So was my mom. Take a point of pride. Mom and I were both.
Oh, dude, me and my mom are not similar at all.
I don't know if I answered that question fully enough, but maybe the degree of like emotion and seriousness. I don't know if that would surprise kids or not, but.
So what comes out of your music is your real emotions.
It's very emotional. It's very much like it's an important release. If I don't do it for long enough, like sometimes we'll take a trip and I'll be like jonesing for a guitar. I really don't like being apart from it. But what I've found lately with that OPXY thing that I splurged on, like, or a piano, the instrument actually doesn't matter is what I've learned. Now I'm a guitarist first and I can barely play piano, but I love to play around with synths and stuff. I think it's really cool that like you get any instrument in my hands and like it's important, it's necessary, But it can be achieved with different instruments.
Now, just walk us through like your creative process from start and then to a finished song, because you have finished songs, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. Walk us like you can even use that as an example, just like what happens step by step as you progress through your songs.
Sure. So, I've written a good number of songs over the years, and like I've been a singer in a band. I've been like a secondary guy in a band where I'm just doing like rhythm guitar or lead guitar. But when I'm writing a song to completion, where the kind of thing I could like might perform solo at a coffee shop or a brewery, which I've done, like that kind of music that I make, that's appropriate for like singer-songwriter or band scenarios, which is like different from that like delay, reverb, cavernous jam type stuff. That work kind of looks like this. I am always pulling down a guitar, playing and singing, oftentimes gibberish first. Yeah. It starts with like chords that I find interesting or sounds on the guitar that I want to sing over, and I'll just say anything.
Well, that matters, because it's like you can't have a bad instrumental to make a song.
Oh, it has to start with that for me. So it starts there, and then I sing whatever comes to mind because I like the feeling of creating melody with my voice over guitar sounds, and so or piano sounds, but primarily guitar. And what ends up happening is that stream of consciousness, which I record just on like voice memos on my phone, it leads to lines I like. So I might end up saying something out loud that I like, and then I'll go and write that down, and then I'll want to build on that. I often have to build on that outside of the stream of consciousness, let's just play and sing mode, which is always for me the inspirational zone. Like I'm just playing and singing, I don't care about what I'm saying, I'm letting it be gibberish, it's fun to do, and then I'm finding melodies that I'm gonna make into real words later. So now every song's not the same. I've had a few cool experiences, like I've got one song called Private Side that actually just came out in one session. Like, and the lyrics that came out in that session, they remained the lyrics. Like it actually just happened, and that is for me rare, but it's
So
neat
it's
to
like off the head, right out the head.
Yeah, like it was just there. I definitely wanted to. I had something to say. I was just like reflecting on like the past and thinking about like identity and like how we all have like a private self and a public self, and this thing came out that I liked, and that is not that common for me. Usually I do really like a melody and I have to come back and work on it. It's not that hard for me to write a verse and a chorus, but the second verse is a lift. Oftentimes that second verse is like, I got to do another one. Like I like this, and I'll sing it all day. And frankly, like in bands I've been in, I've got songs where I just let the second verse be the first again. Just, because we're at band practice, we want to play the song even though it's unfinished. And sometimes it remains. But I've also had a buddy write lyrics that were awesome and then just say, I want music for this and I want you to sing it. And that became one of my favorite songs I've written, which none of the words are mine, but my buddy wrote it's called Song for Quentin, and he composed the lyrics. He said, what would this be if you played and sang it? And I just found chords and a voice for it, and like it's one of my things I'm most proud of. So all these, what I think is a cool takeaway for me is like there's all these different entry points. It doesn't have to look the same every time, and I don't think it should. But for me, like I'm inspired by just like, let's sing over some chords. I'm not sure why we're
Dude, this is so. This is a real deep dive. Lily's learning so much.
For creating music, do you think it's depending on your mood or what's happening in your teaching career at the time? Like, how does it show up in the final sound of your song?
So my teaching identity is like one part of it, and there's no doubt involved, but like it's not explicitly involved. Like I'm gonna once I start talking, one thing that's bringing me to is like, just because you brought up teaching, one thing I love about this job is I get to be authentically myself in the room, and that part of my identity, I think whoever I really am should come out like in my job, which I love, and in my music, which I care about and love. So I think where the ideas, can you remind me, like this wasn't necessarily where the ideas come from, you said?
Like mood.
Oh yeah, that's the word that's key. Because that did unlock something for me, which is I can surprise myself with what comes out, and it can be the reveal for how I'm actually feeling. You know, like, oh, I'm writing an upbeat pop punk song again now. Why am I doing that? I'm in a pretty good place, and this is just fun, and I have a lot of energy, and I want to like belt this out. But sometimes it's like, oh, I'm saying sad words a lot, or like I'm being real introspective. That's one of the best things about it. It's like this. It reveals as much as you create. You know, it can actually show you things about yourself that otherwise you might not even be aware of. Like that's what I think is kind of profound about it. Like I can't imagine my life without music or letting some out. Yeah. You know, so I'd say that mood is a big part of it, and sometimes it shows me how I'm feeling when I'm not even conscious of it.
That's why I don't understand about how some people just don't listen to music at all.
I've said this a lot through my life. If someone tells me they don't listen to music, I mean, to me, it's like someone telling me they don't like food.
Exactly. That's like, what I'm saying. Like, how can you not listen to anything? And then, like, I'll ask, like, I'm calling him out. Cam Switzer hates every music, doesn't listen to anything. What do you do when you're at home?
That's a straight. Yeah, no, that I don't know. I'm with you. I can't relate. I don't know.
It's like imagine watching a movie, no music. I feel like so boring. I was doing this morning because I was watching Star Wars. I said if I ever make a movie, I need John Williams to like compose the music for the movie.
I agree with you. I hear you. Music's everything. No, it's everything in a film, but it's everything in life. It's huge to me.
Oh, that's a quote.
What role does experimentation or failure play in your music making process? Can you recall a time when something didn't work but taught you something important?
Oh, that's a great question.
Let's go.
It's one of my favorite things about working in like Logic. That's where, when it comes, where I experiment most is in the DAW, right? Because there's such a freedom in like, all right, I like that drum beat. I like that. What I'll do a lot is I like a guitar melody. What progression should I use beneath it? Like, because the chords you put beneath the melody you like are gonna hugely impact the emotional feel and just the vibe. I'll do the flip side of that, and I'll like a progression and want to try a lot of different leads. Or lately, I've been picking up the bass guitar a lot too, and like writing a different bass line. Like I'm playing with a group of guys now just for kicks, and like I'm on the bass and I'm enjoying that because it's a different. I think it's very important as a creative person to like have different ways into the thing you want to make. And like, I don't think about the bass that much, but now every time I listen to a song, I'm like, the bass is doing everything right there. How do I do that in my song? So I think that one way that I've tried something out, maybe that didn't work, was when I tried recently to write a song starting with bass and let that carry it, and I haven't been successful yet as with that move. You know, I'm such a guitar driven songwriter that like that was new for me. It was a little harder, but it also made me do something new. And like, it's why I'm also very interested in all the genres. I don't want to dismiss any genre or artist. I think you can learn something from all of them. And I think if you get too locked in or narrow-minded about this is what I listen to, you're missing out on how you could meld and blend different styles to do something new. Okay.
Yeah, because we can talk about for that. Okay, so there's an artist called Yeet, if you even know who that is.
I don't listen, but I'm aware.
No, me and Gavin are not fans.
The lyricism for his music is so plain and boring. It's so repetitive because all he talks about is
I want Billy, I want money, I want Billy, I want money.
That sounds pretty bad to me. Okay.
Exactly. But it's like, here's the thing. I see why he has such a cult following, and it's just because of how, it's not like his music it kind of is different. But it's not like so different that it's like he made his own sound, but it's what he does with his voice on his song. I think that's why he's like so famous. It's just because he does so many weird effects to his voice.
Okay.
That makes his music.
Gotcha.
I still don't like his. I can't say hate him. I just don't like his music.
But that's another thing you can figure out is like, why don't I like this? Like learning from what you don't like, you know? And what's like salvageable within it? Maybe the effects or the instruments or
the beat.
Yeah.
Like the beats carry, but then I
Yeah.
just don't like what he does. It's poop. What has music taught you about yourself? And did it surprise you, basically?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of answers here, but one that comes to mind quickly is it's weird. I have this like complex relationship with attention. I clearly like it. I mean, I don't think you become it a lot. Well, for me, part of becoming a teacher is like, I don't know, I make this joke in class a lot, but your kids are forced to be with me for 48 minutes a period. Like, you gotta like listen to me like that. I picked that job, like mandated audiences, you know? I think that for me, there was something I was drawn to like, and again, I just really was like, I was like in the yearbook as class clown. Like I'm an attention-seeking guy. But the complex part that this is bringing me to is like, I've also had experiences with like stage fright. I've also had experiences with like anxiety about being honest, you know, up there. So I think what it's taught me through numerous performances, including like in venues that like I grew up going to and seeing bands and like seeing, then I'm up there and I'm feeling like, wow, you really can do the thing you think you can't do. Like I had real anxiety about being on stage early, and then like I got very comfortable up there, and that's such a win to learn that about yourself, that like I'm nervous about this thing that I have success at, and therefore I'm pursuing more. But yeah, the music making process itself, I feel like has been a really good education in like creativity and like the importance and value of like making a thing that I don't care if other people know about or hear, because that's also true. Like I've been in bands where we're trying to maybe promote ourselves or play out a lot, and right now I'm making a ton of stuff no one will ever hear, and it does so much for me. So that's awesome. I don't care. It's not about audience or any kind of recognition, you know? It just needs to be done because it's like soul filling.
That's a good segue, because next is like, so what are you still discovering about yourself? Because music never ends. Like, it just keeps going.
Yeah, well, you want to stay within the music zone, right?
Like, well, we're going into like growth.
Yeah. I feel lucky to have found, and I'm going to talk about teaching and music are two things that I value most. They're core to who I am. I'm never going to perfect either one, and that's awesome, because I think the most interesting thing in life is the pursuit of mastery, and to be so drawn to anything that you'll never master is awesome, because it's endlessly engaging. So both teaching and music contain that for me, and what a win that is, just for like being excited to wake up. Like, what can I make today? What can I do with human beings in a room today who are like stuck in there, and like we're gonna do that, make it good.
All right, last question. Cub Master Rondo's phone died. This is like the big finale. This like all the questions built up to this is so what does creativity mean to you right now in the stage of your life?
Oh, all right. You know, so much of life is like duty and responsibility and doing tasks that you need to, you know, boxes you have to check. It's just being an adult, and you know, trying to be a good dad, trying to be a good teacher, trying to be a good husband. Like all these selves we have, the creative self is vital to balancing everything. Like it basically pulls from all those aspects of my identity and gives me a place to like channel it and like let this be a place where I can explore and have freedom and have fun and not care about rules or responsibilities, but just do it for its own sake. I feel like I can't help but repeat what I just said, because it seems like the answer to me. Like what it's taught me is it's one of the places when I feel most engaged and where I find some of the most meaning. Like making a thing I care about, sharing this part of myself with others, maybe or not, but doing it because it matters, I would say. It's going to be part of my life the whole way through, and that's like exciting and feel lucky about it.
Mr. Wright, everyone, Mr. Wright.
All right, guys, this was really nice. You're thoughtful,
What an interview.
interesting people. Yeah, I do gotta get my kid.